Okay, we start off with some local news in Nottingham. Police want to speak to 2 people after a 92-year-old had her handbag stolen. And this is a picture of the 2 they want to speak to, so let's make sure we can find them, shall we? Because they seem a really nice couple. Oh, apart from the fact they like to steal off old age pensioners. Police have released a photo of 2 people they want to speak to in connection with a stolen handbag. Derbyshire Constabulary said the incident happened on Thursday, May 17th at around 12:30 at Eldys Cross Street store in Long Eaton. So we need to find them and make them sorry for what they've done. Now, private firms put in bids for NHS car parking contracts worth 1.8 billion amid growing anger over prices. This shows you that capitalism does not work. For the few, yeah, they'll become rich, but for the majority, it's going to cost you. And we've all heard of the disgraceful car parking charges where even the nurses are having to pay. Well, I think it's time to bring an end to this, because this is just crazy. And of course today is 9/11, and federal grand jury petition filed for new 9/11 investigation. Evidence rules out gravity only collapse. Well, of course it does. Now 9/11 I looked into every which way around, so I know just about everything that was going off on the day. But when you mix that with like Dr. Judy Wood's book, Where Did the Towers Go?, you realise there were probably 3 or 4 different methods used on the same day. Yes, there was thermite used. Yes, I believe there was an exotic free energy weapon used. They smuggled the gold out. They were stealing the gold that was at the bases of the towers, and the reason we know that is because one lorry, the last lorry load, didn't make it out in time. It got trapped in the underground hall things that joined them together, filled with gold. So they knew what was coming, and it was a theft. On top of that, none of the TV stations in New York or around the area reported on the hurricane that was sat offshore. They were using their weather control HARP device, I believe, that there was a hurricane heading straight for New York, and then it just stopped several miles off New York. It just stopped away from it stopped it there in the ocean. They held it there, and I believe that was for in case their pre-planned whatever didn't work quite right, they were then going to send the hurricane in and devastate the whole area, so it would hide any remnants of their what they'd been up to. But because the towers came down as they did, it then did a 90-degree turn and went that way, and yet none of the TV stations were reporting it, even though it was headed directly for New York. So that was some of the methods that they employed. Of course, it goes on and on and on. Like the deputy director of the FBI resigned prior to 9/11 because his investigations into Al Qaeda, ISIS, whatever they were called then, were being blocked. He was the deputy director and they were being blocked, so he resigned. But not to worry, because he got a job of head of the World Trade Center security on 9/11. He started on 9/11 and he died on 9/11. John O'Neill. So much ties all this 9/11 stuff together. It is shocking. But the more you watch, and just do some search. I mean, Building 7 is the smoking gun of all smoking guns. That went out live on the BBC around about 10 o'clock, 20 past 10 at night on 9/11, with Jane Stanley talking, giving a press release that had come out a little bit too early, like 25 minutes too early, because she's saying how the Solomon Brothers building, World Trade Center 7 building, had also collapsed. But that was due to damage from the Twin Towers. The only problem is, in the video that she's talking, you can see World Trade Center 7 still stood in the background. Just look it up yourself. World Trade Center 7 still standing. You'll get some music, I'm still standing, and other bit clips and that, but you can see it clearly still there in the background while she's reporting 20 minutes before it actually collapsed that it's collapsed. And on top of that, they then lose the signal, because if they hadn't, you would have seen it collapse live on TV. Anyway, I'm sure you all know enough about that, but if you don't, do some research, you'll find it amazing, the lies that were told about then. The Times. Alcohol advisor quits over Quango's links to drinks industry. Not a shock, everything's corrupt, we know this. Brexit deal possible in 2 months, says Barnier. May orders ministers to win over Tory skeptics. They're not skeptics, they can see you selling the country down the river, and so they're not happy with you, because even they have got some sort of thing, in some sort of blood in them somewhere, which makes them sort of have a little bit of heart. Sweden prepares to crack down on migrants. Good on you, Sweden. Express. Can Holly put the spark back into Marks and Spencer? Diabetes time bomb. 5 million to get deadly disease. Not if you start eating organic, natural vegetables instead of the shit that we've been eating. Brexit deal in just 6 weeks. EU's Barnier makes shock climb down. In other words, this is planned all along. So yeah, everything you see is planned. So remember, because it's a doom and gloom, cancer rates are going up, will go up if we leave Brexit, all sorts of, the end of the world is coming if we do Brexit, which we're not going to do anyway. You know this, you know this. Then the cricket 147 and out, what a way to retire for record breaker Cook. Daily fail. Home gadgets that spy on you, full pull out. Well, you'd be surprised at what's actually spying on you. Have they really killed Keeley? 10 bodyguard theories that will have you hooked. TV. Soup and shake diet on the NHS to reverse diabetes. Radical treatment could help millions. Well, diabetes is easy. Cannabis all reverses diabetes. Eating a vegetarian diet reverses diabetes. More lolly for 21 mil Holly. Telegraph. The picture, a fashion debut that's fit for a duchess. Policing in crisis as staffing cuts bite. All by design. It's not like wasn't expected. They know exactly what would happen, because they're trying to cause as much chaos as possible, and they want you on the streets rioting so they can then bring in the army and have martial law. Traders taking a big bite to sell Apple short. BBC Online cuts to refocus on key areas. US warns Syria over new chemical strikes. Has anyone had enough of this chemical attack bullshit yet? I know I have. And you can see straight through it. As soon as they mention it, you know, you just know you're going to see something in the actual interview or the programme that you're going to go, well, actually, that don't sound right. So this is just ridiculous. World-class cook bows out with a century. Labour MP who stunned Tories targeted by activists. High-speed trains hit a snag. New fleet can't cope with signals. It seems like any massive thing that they do in the UK can't work, doesn't work, is shit. Fisk in Syria. I climbed up to the front line troops, then a bullet whacked past us. Hunt for man-eating tiger after 13 deaths. It's just doing what it would do normally, so leave the poor thing alone. Move away from his area. Struggle with numbers? You may have dyscalculia, another made-up disease. Just what the doctor ordered, the great outdoors. The power of pink and it's not gender. Operation Safe Theresa, EU leaders rally round PM. As Johnson targets Tory leadership, Barnier declares optimism on deal within 8 weeks. Pound climbs after Brussels tries to relieve pressure on the Prime Minister. Boost for May as EU negotiator says November is realistic. We are not far from agreement. In other words, where we give total control over to Europe. We don't leave it apart from a piece of paper that says we've left when in actual fact we haven't. And we're going to increase the immigration. Disputes continue on Irish border and protecting food names. Any deal faces sabotage attempts in House of Commons and around Europe. The Guardian. Women in UK dying earlier than in most EU countries. And the cricketer again. Star. Toxic air kills 36,000 Brits a year. You show me some evidence of that, or you just expect us to believe it because you wrote it in your rag? Thought as much. Roxanne goes for from toe job to no job. Olivia's secret cancer fight. Star's illness back for third time. You know how she cured it the last time? Cannabis oil, but she obviously hasn't kept taking it. Argo Michelle wins top gong. Metro. Over, oval and out. That's the cricket again. A Brexit deal in just 6 to 8 weeks. Round up as Barnier allies fears of cliff edge departure. Westminster attack, 82 seconds of horror. Why Kirsty Allsop smashed her kids' iPad. Mirror. Is bodyguard cliffhanger all that it seems? Tunnel of love for my dad. That's the cricket thing again. 80 stores under a threat. Debenhams in battle for survival. Last blow for High Street at crisis team called up to help struggling chain. Remember, recall it all happens by design. Anything but independent. Brexit elite won't fight for the people. Even the paper's telling you. War may come to Idlib, but not yet. I've had enough of other people's kids. Arctic monkeys embrace indulgence. Cook bows out with a century. Aid charity accused of misconduct overseas. Development programme handed 6 million of taxpayers' money despite whistleblowers warning about volunteers and staff. But it's not their money, so, you know, we'll just give it away anyway. Financial Times. It's too early for a new centre party to succeed. Why are we having any more parties? If the only ones that should be having parties is the men, women and children while the MPs get some work done. But somehow they've twisted it and turned it round on us. Purdue farmer faces lawsuit flood over its painkillers. Good. Cheap spectacles can transform productivity. Over and out. Cook signs off with a 147. You think it was snooker, but it's cricket. Blackstone leads 1.5 billion swoop for profit portfolio of railway archers. Buyout group links with Telerail. Network Rail plans upgrade. Protests from business. 9/11. Dennis Healy. World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce, and most of them are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings.